Good afternoon. Today we're going to be looking at my personal favorite song from my album, Sincerely Yours.
Don't waste your breath on me, 'cause you'll never get it back.
I think I like this one so much because it's so different. I've never made anything like it before, and I want to make more songs like it going forward. It makes me want to move. It's like a 80s dance pop song, and it kind of happened by accident, but it ended up being one of my favorite songs that I've ever made. As always, if you want to see a specific song of mine showcased like this, let me know in the comments, and I'll think about it. All right, look at this. Hang on. Look at this. Look at how many layers are in. It's absurd. A normal beat of mine that I make for like any given song will probably at most take 2-3 hours, something like that. This took 6. So that should just be an indicator of how involved this song is. I made this song because it was like late August and I had been working on the album for a couple months. And I was like hitting walls. I was getting burnt out with songwriting. I just wanted to take a break and make something out of my comfort zone. Have fun with it. As always, we start with a guitar loop. And the second I heard that loop, I knew I wanted to put some 80s pluck bass on it. And that's how the song started. It was those two together. And after that, I just started adding layers and adding more layers and adding more layers. The first one that I added was this sort of bell arp. And after that, I threw in this Juno synth thing. Here's another arp that's a little lower. This one's kind of like a pad. It's kind of airy. And I thought this one was pretty cool. It's sort of like a funky offbeat sort of stab synth. The final chord layer sounds like this. And I really liked that sort of like melody that I threw on top of that. So then I made it its own pattern in sort of like a bell lead. I don't know what you would call it. And so all that together, you get something that sounds like this. Now, if you listen closely to that, you'll notice that the sound kind of ducks on every downbeat, like wherever a kick or a snare would go, and that's because of a mixing technique called sidechaining. So watch this pattern here and listen to the sound. Every time the wave goes down on these 4 little points here, the volume ducks. There's a duck on every drop. And that's to let the drums have a little bit more room to breathe through the mix so they're not smothered by all these layers that we have going on in here. The drums themselves are very advanced. This particular drum pattern was developed centuries ago. And it takes a true student of the craft to be able to pull off this very intricate, very delicate drum pattern. Fortunately for me, I am a student of the craft. Listen, sometimes less is more. The moral of the story is don't overdo it because sometimes the simplest answer is the correct answer. And that's not all that's going on with the drums. There's these 2 other loops here that kind of fill in for the hats. But yeah, other than that, that's all that's going on with the drums. And then once the beat was done and rendered, the last element that I threw in was this robot voice.
Don't waste your breath on me, 'cause you'll never get it back.
And I'm accomplishing that just by running that particular vocal through a plugin called Nectar 3. So without effects, it sounds like.
Don't waste your breath on me.
But then when I throw on this preset.
Don't waste your breath on me.
And then the only thing left to do is play it all together. that's honestly it. Looks super, super complicated just staring at it, like when you first look at it. But once you dig into exactly what's happening, it becomes a lot simpler. And the sound came out super rich. I'm really happy with it. The song is available on my album Identity Crisis. You can find it on any streaming platform you might listen to. And that's all I got. Let me know what other songs you want to see, and we'll see what happens. Have a nice day.